Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined, as always, by the man who has just smashed 5 boxes of Duchess chocolate liqueurs. It's Greg. How are you today, buddy?
Well, nursing, hopefully, the end of a cold. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm a bit sniffly, but apart from that, I'm not bad. I'm trying a beer that was on offer, a German beer that was on offer in my local off-license called Paddle Hell. For the life of me, I can't find the ABV on it. I don't know if that's a bad sign, but it doesn't taste like a sort of park lager. It's quite mild, actually, so I'm hoping, it's definitely alcoholic, but it's not like, sometimes if it's Tuborg or super like purple tin or something, like it tastes a bit treacly and strong. It doesn't taste like that. It's actually quite nice, quite crisp.
Can we go back to you referring to it as a park lager?
Yes.
Does that mean the lager you would drink in the park as a tramp, or
exactly that? Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
A park lager.
Yes.
Never heard that. Park lager.
Yeah, park lagers would be things like Carlsberg Elephant Beer, Carlsberg Special Brew, which is this, if Elephant Beer is like the silver medal, I think Special Brew is the gold medal, or Tennent's Super, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
loved by Italians everywhere.
Indeed, yeah, a lovely park lager. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, I hope that works out well for you.
I mean, so far it's okay. It's fine so far.
Oh, this will be a cracking episode. You're full of cold, so sounding a bit. You sound seductive. It's fine. Yeah. I had 2 teeth removed the other week, last week. So this might be a strange episode. So if you're into, what is it? AMSR? ASMR? Then you're in for a treat today, listeners. Hey, this could be the episode that sends us viral.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
Just get your feet out and then we'll send it on the internet as well. Everything else good?
Everything's good. I've been enjoying this week sort of revisiting a band, not a Scottish band, but an American band I've not listened to for a long time, the Flaming Lips. Yeah, I've been listening to Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. Sort of concept album of theirs, which I hadn't heard before. It's got one of their songs that probably people might recognise if they don't know the band that well. Do You Realise? It's a really nice song. But the album's quite ASMR-y, you know what I mean? I mean, it's songs, but it's sort of chill, A little bit Gorillaz adjacent in some respects, but yeah. I listened to Flaming Lips for, I don't know, 25 years maybe.
I've never really been a Flaming Lips fan, never really listened to them. Well. I'm aware of them. I think if I think Flaming Lips, my reference is probably like Justin Timberlake being on stage with them, like in a funny costume, I think. But I've never been I've never listened to them properly, to be honest.
Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots is a nice album to be starting with anyway.
Okay, I'll give them a listen, actually, yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff. Too many caramel wafers, too many cans of Iron Brew, trip to the dentist, teeth removed. What's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. No, I have I've had issues for a while, kind of inflammation back in my mouth. So, had to get some molars removed. But it's all fine. It'll help in the long run. But it's been a fun couple of weeks. It's been enjoyment of getting them removed and swollen mouth, lots of painkillers and not much fun. But it's okay. It's a long run. Back on Monday to get a deep cleaning and then the following Monday to get the second part of the deep cleaning done. And then I'm done. So hopefully that'll be it. Yeah. And then I'll get the joys of, in 6 months, going to get an implant done. So that'll be nice.
I've been lucky with my teeth, touch wood, and I've not had to have sort of dental surgery since I was about 17, when I had to get my last baby tooth pulled out, which is just ridiculous at 17. And I didn't love having my gum injected Although, obviously, highly preferable to having a tooth yanked out without any anaesthetic, of course. But I was talking to a colleague the other day who had also, he had one of his crowns had fallen out when he was at his dinner, and he had to go and get a new one put in. And he said that these days they rub a wee bit of stuff on your gum to numb it before they put the needle in, so it's not as painful. Is that true? Is that just in Dubai?
I didn't have that. That's in Dubai. I remember having that in Dubai. You're right. I'd forgotten about that. I remember having that in Dubai when I got my veneers replaced. Here, no, just straight in with a needle. But it doesn't hurt. I did have a joy of, she started to take my tooth out, and I was like, yeah, I can feel that. And she's like, oh, okay. Give you some more. And she's like, is it numb here? And I was like, yeah, no, I can feel it. Do you just feel the pulling, or is it a sharp pain? I was like, yep, it's a sharp pain. So yeah, we had to wait a little while. And then, then it was all fine. I could still kind of feel it a little bit, but hey, it was like, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to ask more. But it was a bastard. And then, of course, half of it came out and half of it was stuck in. So she had to really dig around. So, yeah.
You were a big brave soldier. Yeah.
I was a big brave boy. I didn't get a sticker, though. Do you remember? Like, I remember that when going to the dentist and I was young. I never got a sticker because I was a little bastard when I went to the dentist and I was young. Hence why I probably have teeth now.
Paying for it now.
Yeah, paying for it now. But I always wanted a Bucky O'Hare sticker, but I never got one because I was never a good boy.
I don't remember, I remember like the dentist that we went to would give you like a toothbrush or something, if you know what I mean, like a sort with maybe like a character on it. If you if like maybe Spider-Man or something on it, if you are good getting your checkup or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. I used to like it when I remember the dentist coming to school and they gave us those sort of tablets that you kind of suck in your mouth and then it shows how clean your teeth are after you've brushed them. Remember that?
Yeah. You can buy them now.
Yeah, but it was cool because they were always like pink or blue or like sort of neon-y kind of colours. I remember some kids at school. I mean, my mum always stood over me in the morning and in the evening until, probably almost in double figures, to be honest, to make sure that I brushed my teeth properly. But I remember some kids' teeth were fucking absolutely howling.
Well, 2 minutes top, 2 minutes bottom. That's how you're meant to brush your teeth. Anyway, enough tooth chat. That's Tooth Corner over with. Right. Shall we have a look at what's been... Dental Corner, yes. Shall we have a look at what's been happening in the news in Scotland over the last couple of weeks, Greg?
Cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg, what have you seen in the news that's been happening you'd like to share with me and our lovely listeners?
Well, this one comes from a week or two ago, just because the news was so fucking grim over these last 2 weeks. I really struggled to find anything. But this is Ewen McGregor talking about the time that he really let himself down by swearing in front of a celebrity chef. He was on, him and his pal Charlie Boorman, who he does the sponsored motorbike rides with for UNICEF, were on the Waitrose podcast Dish when he made the comments. So he's spoken about the time that he embarrassed himself in front of Housewives' favourite Delia Smith, as he was so excited he kept swearing. The Scots actor made the comments as he and his collaborator Charlie Boorman appeared on the podcast, hosted by award-winning chef Angela Hartnett and celebrity northerner Nick Grimshaw. Describing meeting the celebrated cook at a Radio Times event, McGregor said, "I was so excited to meet her, but I just kept swearing. I didn't mean to, but I just kept dropping F-bombs all the time. I really let myself down." But Grimshaw said of Smith, who was previously a majority shareholder at Norwich City, I bet she's glad she pulled the money out of there, he said, "She won't mind. She's all right. She's down the football. She hears it all." Remember her making an absolute twat of herself at Norwich.
Let's be having you.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I mean, she was,
remember that.
absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
McGregor and Boorman, who have worked together for the last 20 years on their Long Way series of motorcycle adventures, discuss some of the delicacies they've eaten during their travels. The two described how they were once invited for a meal in a yurt by villagers in Mongolia. Boorman told the podcast, they said, "Would you like some food?" And they had this big pot in the middle on the stove, and they lifted this lid, and there were 200 testicles bubbling away with all their entrails.
Oh my God.
Yaks, you name it, it was all in there. Boorman continued, and I remember eating them, and Ewan is pretty good with eating, like, difficult things. I took one bite and it kind of popped. Asked by Hartnett if the villagers noticed, Boorman replied, "Oh, they thought it was the funniest thing in the world." McGregor and Boorman's latest adventure, titled Long Way Home, sees them travel from Star Wars star Ewan McGregor's house in Scotland. He still got a house in Scotland, Ewan McGregor? I thought he lived in
No, he does. He lives in LA, but yeah, he does have a house in Scotland, yeah.
Oh, does he?
It's got a wee flat in Leith.
up Lawrence Street.
The banana flats.
The banana flats. So Long Way Home sees them travel from Ewan's house in Scotland to Boorman's in England, taking a detour via Scandinavia, the Arctic Circle, and then back through continental Europe aboard classic motorcycles. I mean, it sounds fucking hellish. So yeah, Ewan McGregor embarrassing himself in front of Delia Smith. Have you ever embarrassed yourself in front of a celebrity?
Probably. Not that I can think of. Maybe. I think we discussed this in the pod before, like meeting celebrities. I don't know. I mean, I told Darius I thought he was a legend and loved him.
Well, that's not embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing. It's true. Darius, R.I.P.
The late Darius.
No, don't think I have. What I'm taking from that article is Charlie Boorman getting in a little dig that Ewan McGregor's used to sucking on balls. Thing. What about yourself? You ever embarrassed yourself in front of a celebrity?
Pretty much in front of every famous person I've ever met. I've not equipped myself very well.
You met Souness and you got on well with him.
Yes, that's probably the best I've ever been in front of a celebrity, was meeting Graham Souness. But I was older then. I mean, when I met John Cleese, who's probably the most famous person, I think he definitely is the most famous person I've met, and I bumped into him at the Maryhill Hotel in Glasgow. So my cousin was getting married there, or was having a wedding reception there, and he was obviously on his way for dinner. And a rumour had gone around earlier on during the photographs that he had been seen checking in. He was on tour. It was called his alimony tour because he was getting divorced for the third or fourth time, so he was doing a sort of stand-up tour. And I didn't say anything stupid to him, but I just, when you think back and you're like, you didn't read the situation very well there, because he was obviously on his way for dinner. He had a newspaper under his arm and he's striding with purpose towards the dining room. And I was going to get my youngest daughter's pram out the car because I had intended on driving home and then I ended up leaving my car at the hotel and get my dad to come and get us. But she was following it. She was starting to get tired because she was only, in fact, she wasn't even one. She was tight. She was only 6 months or something. So I went to get the pram so we could set her up in the pram, and I bumped into him, and I had been watching something the week before, a sort of retrospective in some charity fundraiser. I think there's the Secret Policeman's Ball or something like that. He was on there with guys like Peter Cook and the other Monty Python guys and all that. And I said, "Oh well, Mr. Cleese, I'm sorry to stop you when you're walking." But I really just wanted to say hello. And the thing was, I think it was because he was obviously in his way somewhere. And I just had to get everything out that I wanted to say. So he shook my hand, and I sort of held on to his hand for a second or two longer than I should have. And I said, "Oh, I was watching that documentary about the Secret Policeman's Ball the other night, and I just thought it was so funny seeing all you guys doing your routines, blah blah blah." And he said, "Sorry, I'm not really getting what you're saying."
Oh.
So I had to sort of slow down a bit and repeat myself. And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "Yeah, they were a lot of fun." And I kind of took that as my cue to let go of his hand. And let him go and have his dinner. But yeah, like everybody, even River City actors that I've met out on nights out years ago, made a complete fucking moron of myself in front of. Just not very good at meeting famous people back then. I think I'm probably better now, because I'm older. But I've not met anybody famous since I bumped into Soonest, and that's like 2019.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I guess you don't know what to say. I remember, funnily enough, bringing it back to Norwich when I met
Delia Smith.
Soraya. It's Delia Smith. In
time.
I met Paige in time, yeah. Delia Smith. Come on, let's be having you. In time, she was going mental. She was fucking mad on the aircase. Delia Smith doesn't take eckies, just to make that clear. When I met...
so far as we know, anyway.
As far as we know. When I met ex-WWE wrestler Paige at SummerSlam, I did remember, I kind of regret making an arse myself, because I was like, hey, hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, good, thank you. And I was like, oh, you're from Norwich. I lived in Norwich for a while. And she went, oh, great. Do you still live there? I was like, no, I live in Dubai now. It's much better than Norwich. And she looked a bit offended. I was like, still pains me. I was like, why did I say that? But yeah.
Because Dubai is not better than Norwich. Dubai is not better than anywhere.
No, it's true, actually. Yeah, if I think back fondly, I have a fond memory of living in Norwich. Lived there for a year. I loved it.
We had a good time coming to visit you in Norwich.
At time. There you go. Yeah, we had a good time in time as well.
We did indeed, yeah.
We did.
Reaching for the lasers.
So Ewen McGregor, I haven't watched the latest series, but I do remember watching A Long Way Down, I think was the first one, and maybe A Long Way Round the second one. I remember enjoying them.
Yeah, they're good.
Maybe I'll need to watch. Yeah, they are good. And they they have the Argentinian guy, the cameraman. I can't remember his name now.
Can't remember either.
But yeah, I remember really enjoying those series. So maybe I'll have to watch this new one because they're good banter.
It's on Apple, I think. I think people probably like it. I think, well, maybe one of the reasons that people like it is maybe why some people like this podcast, because those two are like mates and they go back and they're very easy way with each other and all that kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's certainly why I've enjoyed watching it. Because obviously, when you see Ewen McGregor on the TV, he's usually being interviewed and he's talking about usually promoting a film or something like that. So to see him sort of just with his best mate, just having a laugh and doing like a sort of shared hobby and all that sort of stuff, it's cool, you know?
Yeah, being a bit natural.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's old Ewan, cursing and swearing in front of Delia Smith. My mum Delia Smith taught my mother how to cook. Not directly, just through her cookbook, Delia Smith's Complete Cookery Course. And my mum's a good cook now, but a bit of an icon. Anyway, that's my first story. What's your first story this week?
My first story comes from Glasgow Live this week, Greg, and it is the fact that Glasgow has been named Disney Adult Capital of Scotland. So the rise of people identifying themselves as Disney adults shows no signs of slowing down as more and more people describe themselves as hardcore fans. New research from top theme park booking site attractiontickets.com has revealed the UK locations that are home to the highest numbers of Disney-loving grown-ups, based on ticket purchases by solo travellers and couples for Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris, and Disneyland California over the past 12 months. And Glasgow has been named the city with the most Disney adults, out with London, with Dundee and Edinburgh the other Scottish cities making the list. I'm so glad Aberdeen isn't on this list.
I mean, I'm not surprised though.
A spokesperson for attractiontickets.com said, "The subject of Disney adults can make some people smile from ear to ear, whilst giving others the ick. Love them or loathe them, the devoted fandom are here to stay. But whether you're looking to join a community or stay clear, where are you most likely to bump into Disney adults in the wild?" Marketing director at attractiontickets.com, Chris Bradshaw, said on the findings, "This data shows that a huge number of adults across the UK enjoying travelling to Disney's parks solo or in a couple without children. Cities like Glasgow and Liverpool ranking so highly also suggest that the Disney fandom is thriving, well beyond the capital, and even some small areas like Dundee and Warrington. From our internal data, we're seeing that Disney parks are no longer viewed as just family destinations. Increasingly, they appeal to adults who are eager to experience the nostalgia-themed dining and seasonal events that make Disney parks so unique. The shift has a direct impact on how we approach marketing and packaging trips for grown-ups, and we welcome any Disney adults who want to experience the magic of Disney with us. You a Disney adult, Greg?
I mean, obviously, when you're our age, the first film I ever, when you're the first film I ever got taken to the cinema to see was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because they would re-release the Disney movies, because like VHS was not like, owning videos back then wasn't something people did. Like, we owned like a player, but to own a video at home, they were quite expensive back then.
Unless they were mucky videos.
Well, unless they've been pirated around. I remember we had a pirate copy of E.T. that was doing the rounds amongst my mum and dad's friends group. I think I saw E.T. before it came to the cinema in the UK. So, I remember getting taken to see Snow White. I remember getting taken to see The Jungle Book, possibly Sleeping Beauty, maybe, and 101 Dalmatians. And then I remember taking my daughter to see The Lion King when it was re-released, when she was wee. So that, I'm sort of interested in Disney as the kind of history of it as a company. But I think, like new Disney movies, like we watched, actually, speaking of Snow White, against my better judgment, we watched the live action remake of Snow White the other week on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it wasn't as shite as I thought it, as I'd been led to believe I would find it, but it was still shite. You know what I mean? And just like the story takes turns away from the original narrative of the original one. But there's a lady that I work with. I won't say her name, but she's a Lebanese girl, and she must be in her mid-30s, and she is fucking Disney daft, and she goes.
Okay.
She goes to one of the... she's married. She's got a little girl that she named after a Disney princess. Like a more modern Disney princess, not one of the classic ones. She's not called Snow White or something. Cinderella.
Moana. Brave.
Tiana, her name is, after the Princess and the Frog. And she's got a little boy as well, who's about 2. And when the year he was born, she took him to Disney when he was a baby. But I had to travel with her on a business trip to Denver. Like, long-term listeners might remember this. I went to Denver, Arizona, and Orlando about 3 years ago. And so she was pregnant with the little boy when she travelled, and she's small, so she was out. She was maybe about 4 months pregnant, but she looked like she was about 9 months pregnant. And I meet her at the airport. She's wearing a Minnie Mouse tracksuit and vest top. Right, bear in mind, I'm spending like the next 18 hours or something with this woman, right? She's got a Disney branded carry-on. So we get to Denver and we're all like pretty shattered. And I said to her, look, I'll get your suitcase off the carousel, because she was pregnant and I'm a gentleman, right? I said, you hang back, I'll get your suitcase for you. And before I can say, what does it look like? I'm like, never mind. Fucking Minnie Mouse suitcase trundling round on the belt. I'm like, for fuck, come on, it's too much. You're a grown woman. And of course, when we were in Orlando, we had a bit of a free day, so she went off to the park with another woman that was travelling with us, but she got I didn't go out. I just sat in the hotel bar this night, but there was a tornado. It was our last night. There was a tornado, and it wasn't like a Wizard of Oz tornado, like blowing houses away. It was just like a really bad rainstorm, thunder and lightning and all that, and her and this other woman had got in this little boat in the park out to this little island in the park, and they got stuck there for 3.5 hours, and I was glad.
Funnily enough, I think my first cinema experience was a Disney film. It was The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, that's a hard one. It's a tough one. That's quite sad, isn't it?
I don't know. I've only watched it once. I remember watching it when I was young. And yeah, I think I remember maybe a bit tough. But yeah, that's kind of it. Never really been In fact, that's a lie. I remember one of the first CDs I ever bought was a Disney CD.
Was it? No, that's what I call Disney.
But funnily enough, that was one of the other CDs I got. Like it was a Now compilation. But yeah, I bought a Disney song, and I remember my sister taking a piss out of me. Like, why are you buying that? Like, I must have been about 11 or something. But I think, and then latterly, I'm talking like it was a couple of years ago. I think was I maybe like 12, 13? I was in, it wasn't a Disney play, but I was in the Jungle Book. Right. But it was based on Rudyard Kipling's book rather than the Disney version. And that was an interesting time being...
Did you play Mowgli because of your natural dark skin?
I did play Mowgli, yeah. And I had to walk around stage just wearing a loincloth. It was little red Speedos.
Little red loincloth. Yeah.
It was a pair of Speedos that they put like fabric on, and it was a loincloth. And I had to parade around stage. And I remember we had to do a photo shoot for the newspaper, the Evening Express, and I didn't have... My loincloth was like back in the dressing room, which was like a 5-minute walk away. And they were like, oh, you don't have time, just do it in your pants. So I had to do it in a pair of pants. And I had to... And bear in mind, I was like 12. Yeah. And in this theatre group, there were some girls there were like 16 or so. Like, and I quite fancied a few of them.
You never got a stoner on the front page of the Evening Express, did you?
No, but I had to take off my trousers and I had Daffy Duck on my underpants and on my boxer shorts. And I remember being so embarrassed that fucking having to take off my underpants and having, not take off my underpants, but get down to my underpants. And I had fucking Daffy Duck on my fucking pants. It's so embarrassing. No, I never got a stoner, thankfully. Yeah, that would have been embarrassing. I do remember nearly getting a stoner because I had to get it's so bad saying this. I had to get like browned up every night. Like they had to put makeup on me from head to toe. Yeah. And the girl that was doing it was quite attractive. And I was fucking 12. Like I remember being like, oh fuck, as she's dabbing my inner thigh with makeup.
Bit of foundation.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
I mean, we should say that Hazelhead, probably not the most diverse community in the early 1990s. You know what I mean? Aberdeen in general, not the most diverse city back in those days.
Oh, well, this wasn't even Hazelhead. This was at the Arts Centre in Aberdeen. Oh. It was a Aberdeen Children's Theatre that I was a proud member of. So it wasn't even just Hazelhead. Yeah. So that's pretty much my Disney. I mean, I've been to Disney in Orlando, Florida, and remember enjoying it. We did debate when we went to Tokyo last month about going to Disney in Japan, and we're like, probably be shite. Like, come on, we're both in our 40s. We're not going to go. Like, it's a whole day outing. Probably not going to be that great. So we didn't go. But there is a part of me, but if I think back to going to Florida, like I did enjoy Disney.
Yeah, of course. It's a good time.
Epcot was probably my favourite, but most of the memories I have of that time were from like Universal Studios. Like, I far preferred that.
Oh, yeah, that's much more
much better.
But Disney's good. I mean,
Disney, it was fun.
My wife and I, on our honeymoon, we were in Los Angeles for a few days, and we went to Universal Studios one day, and we went out to Anaheim and went to Disney the second day. And it was good. I'd never been to Disney before. She had been to the one in Paris because she used to live there before her and I met. She'd been to the Paris one. We took my daughters to the Paris one maybe 2 years ago. But I think... 3 years ago, but I think maybe just missed the boat a wee bit. I think they were just a wee bit too old to really, enjoy it. Like my older daughter enjoyed the rides because she likes the roller coasters and all that sort of stuff. But, we didn't stay for the whole day. We spent it at 7 o'clock, called it.
Just that kind of edge before, like it's a bit naff, but not nostalgia kind of heavy yet. Like being able to appreciate it.
Yeah, I think they probably enjoy it a bit more now, funnily enough, as sort of older teenagers, like for that nostalgia thing. Because obviously, I mean, I've been through all the Disney films again with them when I'm a lot older than my sisters, like a lot older. So I remember like them having like loads of the sort of classic ones on video when they were growing up and them just getting played all the time. But I'm not really surprised that it's people from Glasgow and Liverpool that are fleeing reality to go to the Magic Kingdom. You know what I mean? bit of a break from fucking savagery of the river cities. You know, it's get the fuck out of here. And when I was in Florida, like I didn't go to Disneyland, but I went to a shopping outlet, like a clothes outlet, and it was like walking down Sucky Hall Street. It was fucking tons and tons of Ouija's there. Tons. I'm not exaggerating.
It's funny, yesterday I was walking through Amsterdam Central train station and I noticed there was a shop that's been closed down for a while. It used to be like an Atos, which is like a super drug, basically, like a Boots kind of knockoff. And it was all branded Disney. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're opening a Disney store. And then when I looked properly, Disney ice cream store.
Oh, wow.
So there's going to be a shop there just selling Disney ice cream.
Did we ever, I don't know if we ever mentioned in the podcast our little encounter in Brussels when we were walking back to the hotel, waiting to cross the roads, and we were sort of standing amongst these kind of young guys, maybe like late teens, early 20s, and one of them just started talking, and they were all from the west of Scotland. All right, man, how much further is it to the hotel now? Sam, dear, I've stepped into the fucking Twilight Zone or something.
Yeah, I think we have brushed upon it in the past, but yes, fun times. Anyway, that is Glasgow, Disney capital of Scotland. What else have you seen this week, mate?
Well, a guy who's perhaps, I mean, I don't know, like a few years ago I would say he's living the dream, but I don't know if it's maybe a little bit tragic now. But anyway, it comes from the Daily Record on the 10th of July, which was yesterday. Thrifty Scot who built authentic garage pub crowned country's biggest beer lover. Ian Mason built his pub all on his own over 4 months. Can you guess what he's called the pub? I think you'll like it.
Where's he from?
I don't know, but he's called it Stoters.
Lovely. Stoters.
Belting name for a pub. Yeah, almost everything inside Stoters was sourced for free or under £10 thanks to Facebook Marketplace, Free Cycle, and local skips.
Wow.
So this is a crafty East Kilbride local who built a pub in his back garden. He's raising a glass after being crowned the country's biggest beer lover. Living miles from the nearest watering hole, self-confessed beer lover Ian Mason, 55, decided to convert part of his garage into a cosy bar in 2023, and it was to become a real labour of love. Built single-handedly over 4 months, everything inside the pub, named Stoters, was sourced for free or under £10 thanks to Facebook Marketplace, Free Cycle and local skips. Aldi Scotland launched a competition this year to find the nation's biggest beer lover to celebrate one of its busiest sales periods for craft beer, with the retailer featuring a range of Scottish microbreweries including Williams Brothers, Fierce Beer and the Loch Lomond Brewery. Stoters, which spans 13 square metres, impressed the judges with its authentic pub facade, rich interior detailing and thoughtful craftsmanship which echoes the charm of a traditional Scottish pub. And Ian's use of recycled materials was also highly praised. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it's fucking mustard. I'm telling you now. He's got a Skål beer tap. He's got a Guinness beer tap. He's got a McEwen's Export mirror, branded mirror. He's got those sort of thick plastic pub ashtrays that you used to get, like the tenants ones and stuff like that.
Lovely.
It's a belter. He's even got like an old Chianti bottle, like the sort of different shaped wine bottle that's got a sort of wicker basket around the base of it. He's got his gantry there with his optics. He's got his pouring malts. He doesn't have a toasting machine. He's got like the water jugs that used to sit in the bar, the branded water jugs, in case you needed a wee bit of water in your half.
I've got one of those, tenants.
Yes, right. You do indeed.
Yeah, which pops up in what we're going to be talking about later on today.
Yeah, I'm going to just take a wee picture and send it to you so you can see it. It's really, really good. I know, sorry, listeners. But you know us well enough. Commenting on the accolade, Ian said, "I'm not a handyman by any means, so there was plenty of trial and error when I was building Stoters, but I got there eventually. Low lighting and dark varnish hides a lot. And he's got a blackboard outside the pub. I mean, he's even got like an entrance to the pub. It's not just like his garage door. He's got an entrance, like it says Stoters, and he's got a blackboard that says Stoters, Braw Beers and Superior Spirits. He opened it in secret on Christmas Day 2023 to an astonished crowd of 10. Not even his wife had seen it. Stoters has since become a hub for Ian's friends and family, hosting karaoke nights, sporting events, not sporking, and even Hogmanay celebrations. Guests must follow 2 house rules. They must bring a foreign banknote or a business card to pin to the ceiling, and they've got to take a turn behind the bar as well. Stoters now stocks a wide range of beers with lots of guest ales regularly on draft, including Ian's favourites from Fierce Beer and Loch Lomond, which are both stocked at Aldi if you live in Scotland. And in recognition of his love and enthusiasm for beer, Ian has won a 12-month supply of Aldi Scotland's craft beer range, adding to his already impressive collection. He'll be choosing from a range of crisp lagers, pilsners and fruity IPAs, including Innocent Guns Tequila Cask, that sounds fucking boggin', it's like a Desperado, it's horrible. Loch Lomond Breweries Bonnie and Clyde, and Fierce Beers Seversa, which are all available at Aldi's 109 Scottish stores. Aldi should be giving us a bit of money for this year. Ian continues, "I'm chuffed to have been named Scotland's biggest beer lover and to win such a generous prize from Aldi. I built Stoters to enjoy a pint with friends and family without the long trek to the nearest pub. It's been a real labour of love, and I'm very happy that the judges saw the efforts went into every detail." Graham Nicholson, who's the group buying director at Aldi, said, "We'd like to raise a glass to Ian on being crowned the nation's biggest beer lover. A well-deserved title for someone so clearly passionate about great brews." So yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's basically just an advert for Aldi. But yeah, I mean, it's an absolute belter. Do you see it?
I'm looking at the photo now and I'm in love with this place. The couple of things that stand out to me that are amazing. So on the bar, there is a huge famous grouse bottle, which looks like it's got coins in it, which it was a staple of any bar you went into when we were young. Yeah. However, the best thing for me, and I fucking adore this man for that, on the back of the bar, there is Scampi Fries and Bacon Fries attached to a nudie card. That, you know, if you take off those Scampi Fries, you're seeing some boobs. And we've spoken about this in the podcast before. I think it was Andy from Finland who got in touch with us to say that he remembered that the nudie nuts that you would have, like KP nuts, you would take the nuts off and it would reveal a little bit more of the lady underneath. And that's something that's forgotten about and needs to be brought. It doesn't need to be brought back, actually. I should say that. Yeah. But
trust you to find that.
Hell. I've got old Dennis Waterman there. That is something that needs to be remembered, yes. Put in a museum, a hall of fame. Something that doesn't need to be brought back, but is fondly remembered of its time, much like Dennis Waterman.
Did you see his painting, the Blue Lady painting, which was a bit of a staple of your granny's of granny's living rooms? Like,
that was the third thing that I was going to bring up. Yeah, the Blue Lady painting. That has come up a couple of times on stuff we've watched in the podcast. And I did some research to find out if that is a Scottish thing or if it's just a UK thing. And I couldn't find much about it because I'm kind of like, what do you Google? Blue Lady painting. I think even in Ratcatcher, there was a Blue Lady painting.
Yeah, there might have been,
I think it was a kind of thing. I am 75% sure my grandmother had one of those. I think it was, one of those staple things. But yeah, that was the third thing I was going to point out, apart from the Bell's bottle and the nudie snack.
Did you see his black menu to the far right of the picture with the little white letters for putting the prices up?
I did, yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, you need that. Yeah, that is wonderful. That's a cracking little bar.
It's a
yeah, I'd love
belter.
to go for a drink there, yeah.
And it looks like he even allows smoking as well.
Oh, yeah, because the ashtrays, yeah. If you were to have a little home bar, what would you call it?
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, Stoters is a absolutely brilliant name, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I would have came up with that on my own. I don't know. I maybe name it after a pub, like a fondly remembered pub from my youth, like the Illicit Still or something like that.
Just about to say the illicit still.
But I think the Illicit Still is still open. The Illicit Still. Why did we never go there when we were not? Is it gone?
Shut down years ago, yeah.
Is it? I'll call it the Illicit Still then. It would feel weird to call it the Illicit Still if the Illicit Still was still open. Yeah, I suppose we would have gone there when we were in Aberdeen. Like the last twice that we were in Aberdeen together, we'd definitely have gone there if it was still open.
No, shut down quite a while ago. I mean, the Swally is a good
The Swally's
name.
a good name, yeah, but that would have to be that'd have to be our bar.
Yeah. The Ball Bag, I think, is my kind of choice. But you're right. Kind of needs to be something that's, Stoter's fucking brilliant.
It's a great name.
But yeah, the Illicit Still would be a nice little kind of homage to
Indeed.
the still. But yeah, that shut down a long time ago now. Yeah, otherwise we would have gone there without a doubt in terms of a kind of little walk down memory way. But yeah.
Anyway, that's Ian and a bit of a stealth advert for Aldi there. Apologies, but we're not the BBC. You know what I mean? But anyway, so what's your next story this week?
My next story is from the Daily Record this week, Greg, and it is shocking. Scottish banknotes quietly phased out as Glasgow ATMs dispense English tenors. The Daily Record has uncovered official data which shows our unique cash, a symbol of Scotland's national identity and banking heritage, is being stripped out of circulation at 4 times the rate of English branded currency. We found, it's the Daily Record, not me and Greg, found that ATMs across the country are now giving Bank of England tenors and 20s, and politicians and campaigners have reacted angrily to their findings. Ex-Justice Secretary and Alba party leader Kenny McCaskill said, "The Scottish banks must explain why the decline in Scottish banknotes in circulation has fallen 4 times as fast as equivalent notes south of the border. If things continue as they are, one day we might reach the ridiculous point where people in Scotland are simply unable to get Scottish banknotes from cash machines at all. Scottish banknotes are a matter of pride for Scots, and the banks must provide reassurance that they are not being phased out against the expressed wishes of their customers." The Bank of Scotland was the first bank in Europe to issue paper money in 1695. Did you know that, Greg?
I did not know that. That's
No.
Again, Scotland showing the rest of the world how to fucking take care of business.
Exactly. But Bank of England data shows the value of Scottish notes in circulation has slumped by nearly a fifth since 2020, the year that the COVID pandemic hit. So they're playing COVID for this. And so an increase in contactless card payments. That makes sense. Overall, it means a fall of 16% in real terms in just 5 years, a decline which is 4 times faster than the Bank of England notes, which have dropped just 4%. People across Scotland have reported a rise in cash machines dispensing English notes rather than Scottish currency. The Daily Record visited 3 cash points in Glasgow, including an ATM at Sainsbury's on Gordon Street, opposite Central Station, and 2 other machines in the West End. The Daily Record's reporter took out £90, with £80 dispensed as Bank of England notes and just £10 of Scottish notes in the 2 Clydesdale Bank. In the form of 2 Clydesdale Bank fivers. You can't get a fiver at a cash machine, can you?
Well, you never used to be able to. Maybe you can now.
Wow, I'm shocked at that. The total value of Scottish banknotes in circulation, including in people's wallets, shop tills and the wider economy, as well as ATMs and bank branches, had slipped below 5 billion for the first time in November 2020. The value of Scottish notes held in ATMs and bank branches fell from £500 million, yada, yada, yada. This is very boring. But yeah, there's Ron Delveno, who chairs the Payment Choice Alliance, who campaigns on retaining the right to cash, said, "There's no doubt that having Scottish notes is an expensive business for the banks. There's also an issue that whilst English notes are always accepted in Scotland, Scottish notes aren't always accepted in England. And the further south you go, the more problems you get.
And it's
I would
illegal.
guess we're going to, more and more, see Scottish notes moving out of things like ATM. 3 banks in Scotland issue Scottish banknotes: the Royal Bank of Scotland, the Bank of Scotland, and Clydesdale Bank. Asked if there was an explicit policy to phase out Clydesdale banknotes, a spokesperson for Virgin Money said, "No, we continue to issue notes on demand." NatWest Group, which includes RBS, was also approached for comment. Devado added, "We're being pushed towards a cashless society, despite the fact that people don't want it. We did a poll recently, and 71% of people, including Scots..."
Who did the poll?
It just said we did a poll, so it's Delveno.
Oh,
who
right, okay.
Works for... Let me go back, let me scroll up. He chairs the Payment Choice Alliance.
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking bunch of busybodies, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's saying that people want... Gareth did a poll, 70% of people want, including Scots and people in Wales, want a law passed guaranteeing cash will be accepted. When Link, the ATM network, did a survey, they found 80% wanted to retain the option of using cash. There's no desire amongst people that want to see a cashless society. But there are whole areas of Scotland that are completely defunded of bank branches and bank ATMs. It's very hard to get Scottish notes. People's cash access in these parts of this country are hanging by a thread. So, Scottish notes, Greg. I mean, we've all had the issue of... I've been with you and our mutual friend try to spend Scottish notes in Norwich and just not accepted. And yeah, it's long been a kind of thing of Scottish banknotes not being accepted in England. And it's a kind of joke that is passed down from the ages.
I remember being humiliated when I was a wee boy. We moved from Glasgow to Barrow-in-Furness in England, and my mother decided that after sort of however many years I'd been at school, like 3 or 4 years of making me a packed lunch every day, because I was a fussy little bastard, she couldn't be arsed to do that anymore. And I had to start going to school dinners when I started this new school in Barrow. So you had to take your money in on a Monday for the week.
And you couldn't get your play piece, wasn't it?
Well, the play piece either. Fucking shite. Honestly, shite school. The fucking worst school. But anyway, I remember I'd only been there like a week, and she sent me in with my dinner money this Monday, and in the money there was a couple of Scottish pound notes, and England had pretty much phased pound notes out by this point. This would have been about 1987, but they were on pound coins. You didn't really get it. I think the Bank of England has stopped printing pound notes. So, and the way this teacher reacted, they must have had stopped printing pound notes like quite some time before, because when I handed it to her, you'd have thought I just fucking shat in my hand and passed it to her. And she fucking made me take it back home. She said they couldn't take it. And my mother went fucking mental. And long story short, I took the same money back the next day, and she accepted it. So God knows what my mother said. I can imagine she probably fucking ripped this woman a new arse. But yeah, I mean, but my understanding is like Scottish money and Welsh money is sterling, so, and it's worth exactly the same as English money, despite what some arseholes think. And but I also think that there's a law where, business owners can refuse any currency for any reason that they deem, so it doesn't really make, it doesn't make any difference whether you just tell them that it's sterling or not. If they don't want to take it, they're not going to take it.
I remember a guy in the Aberdeen forum arguing that technically you can go to Tesco's and pay in postage stamps because that's legal tender. And he said he argued with someone on the till that, like, no, it's legal tender, so I am paying with postage stamps. But yeah, it's been a long gone thing in terms of Scottish notes. And I do remember, having to be careful, like whenever I was going down to England or anything, making sure I went to like a NatWest bank in Glasgow to get English money out, because didn't want the hassle of it being rejected if I was going down to England. But
I've done that. I've done the same because I lived in England again as an adult, and I did the same. But yeah, I'll be quite happy if they phase cash out. It's a fucking pain in the arse. You know what I mean? It's so much easier just to tap your phone or your card or something and not have to carry fucking money, like cash around with you.
Yeah, I have to admit, like I got cash. I sold something on like Marktplaats, which is basically like the Dutch Dubizzle. And somebody gave me cash, like €30, and I've been holding on to that for about 3 months now. Like, nothing to do with it. Can't spend it anyway. I mean, I could go to the supermarket and pay, but then I've got a queue at the till. And I'd rather just go through the automated system and just use my cash, my card or my phone. And
it's a bollock.
Yeah, got that. €30 just,
Your only option is to find like a fucking branch of your bank, which is it's like finding gold at the end of a rainbow these days, finding a fucking bank that still operates to go and stick the cash in your account. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Shocking stuff, but never mind. But yes, so Scottish banknotes being phased out. That's shocking, especially since we came up with it. As you say, Scotland leading the way.
I know.
Never realised that.
You would still be fucking paying with sheep and fucking pebbles and bronze coins if it wasn't for us. Fucking
there we
cunts.
go. Scotland leading the way once again. All right. Have you seen anything else this week, mate?
Well, yes, and I suppose it's kind of news, but I kind of want to pay a wee bit of a tribute to Glenn Michael, who passed away yesterday at the ripe old age of 99 years old.
Wow.
Now, when I was a kid, Glenn used to host a Sunday afternoon television programme called Glenn Michael's Cavalcade on STV. Now, I don't know if it was shown all over Scotland, but it was definitely shown in the west of Scotland when I was little. And I can't overstate how important this programme was for kids of my generation, because Sundays in the UK in the early 1980s were fucking rubbish in every respect. Shops were closed. Your pals were probably not around because they were dragged to visit their grannies and granddads or whatever. And the television was absolutely shite. So just to give you an example of how shite television was in the 1980s on a Sunday in the early 80s, I found some listings, right? So here, this is the Radio Times, right? This is the 12th of February 1984. 9:05 in the morning, Link, a series of programmes designed especially for handicapped people. Right, no harm to handicapped people, but 5 and 6-year-old Greg does not want to watch that on a Sunday morning, right? Then you could keep up with yoga for half an hour with Lynn Marshall. After that, farm progress, the gap between the lowest and the highest crop yields. So that's on for half an hour. Then you got morning worship. Then you got the news. Then there's an episode of the Adam West Batman, so like a little fucking tiny oasis in a fucking otherwise entertainment desert. The Sunday matinee at 3:45, The White Tower, a movie with fucking Glenn Ford and Claude Rains. I mean, the football was just the television was absolutely shite on a Sunday. So Glenn Michael had a kind of magazine show and then Glenn Michael wasn't even Scottish. He was actually English, funnily enough. But this programme had been on since 1966. And he had, I don't think there's anything more Scottish than this, right? But he had a talking oil lamp called Paladin that was like, he was a sort of straight man to this wisecracking oil lamp. He had 2 dogs. He had Rudy and Rusty, like 2 actual dogs, and he would show cartoons like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the Wacky Races or Yogi Bear, sometimes old Marvel cartoons like the Fantastic Four or the Spider-Man cartoons. He would also show Battle of the Planets, which was like it was like a kid-friendly version, an edited for children version of a fucking ultra-violent manga cartoon from Japan. But all the kind of tentacle rape and big exploding heads was removed. But R.I.P. Glenn, because without that little half an hour, and he would read like birthday cards and stuff like that, and occasionally he would go to like attractions in Scotland, like he might go to like a museum, the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery, and record from there, or he might go to the Transport Museum in Glasgow, or the People's Palace in Glasgow or something like that, and you just look forward to it. It would always be on sort of mid-afternoon. It was rare there would be any sport on that my granddad wanted to watch, so I always would get the chance to sit and watch Glenn Michael for however long it was on for him. I guess it was probably half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, but I was sad to see that he passed away this week, but 99 is a fucking good old age, and he was still interviewing even up to a couple of years ago, and he was always very quick to say how Scotland had been really good to him, and that his whole career really had been in Scotland. And I think presenting the programme was a bit of a accident. I don't think that was ever supposed to happen that way, but he just happened to be the right man in the right place. So people like Ali from the Scots Way Hey podcast, I know that he I think he listens. So he always gives us a little boost every week on his Facebook page. He'll definitely remember Glenn Michael, and hopefully some of our listeners do. So thank you for brightening up dull as fucking dishwater Sunday afternoons in the 1960s, 1970s and 1980s and early 1990s before it was cancelled. Glenn.
Wonderful tribute there. Yeah, Sundays, you're right. It was kind of, I remember, shite. TV. Like, the best memories, I guess, was like you're waiting for the Waltons to finish. Yeah. So the Land of the Giants would come on. And then after that, it was... Well, actually, no. Then Channel 4 would usually show sumo or kabaddi. And then that was it. Then you were stuck with Songs of Praise and...
Highway or something like that.
Highway. And I guess the glimmer, the one peak of Sunday evening TV would be the two Ronnies. And Lovejoy.
Yeah, but that's a wee bit later. I mean, I remember.
Yeah.
Because I remember kind of pre-Channel 4 days when it was like 3 channels.
Yeah.
And it was. I think maybe the best you could hope for was maybe Highway to Heaven late afternoon with Michael Landon.
Yeah,
like my granny liked that.
Yeah.
Maybe a wee bit later. But the funny thing is, like, this copy of the TV Times, somebody scanned it online, so there's like adverts in there, and it was just a different time, mate. It was just a different time. So the advert I'm looking at, spot the Kensington smoker, right? So there's 3 Eskimos. One of them has got an electric blanket round them while the other 2 are shivering. And obviously the suggestion is that one is the Kensington smoker because he's smart. He's got himself an electric blanket off all these Kensington's focus points, while the other 2... 37.5 pence for 20 clubs back in the early 1980s.
Focus points. God, that's
there's an advert for Clark's. So Clark's are advertising like knee-high boots for ladies, and again, it's a different time, right? So there's 3 ladies with nothing on apart from the boots, and a big long sort of Tom Baker as Doctor Who length scarves and bobble hats, and nothing else.
You can send that to me, mate. I'd be much appreciated.
Just a different time. Anyway,
right.
Right.
Before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, let's have a little word from our sponsors.
You get the car you like at the price you like from the people you like at Taggart's,
Scotland's premier motor group.
Okay, Greg, so it was your choice of what we're going to be talking about today. So why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Well, it's another Taggart episode of the Culture Swally this week. We've done 3 already. We've done the pilot from 1983, which is called Killer. We've done the one with the snakes, and I've forgotten the name of it.
Nest of Vipers.
And this week, we're going back to 1988 in one of my absolute favourite Taggart serials, the often mentioned Dead Giveaway. Taggart and Jardine are investigating a string of poisonings across the city of Glasgow, and the suspects include 2 regular Cosmo Award winners, Matt Costello and the man himself, James Cosmo, playing his dad, which is fucking mental. And of course, this is classic era Taggart. So I've got the formidable Mark McManus as Detective Chief Inspector Jim Taggart, and James McPherson as DI Mike Jardine, pounding the beat and looking for the maniac, which Jim says just like that a number of times, and it makes me smile every single time. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why, and I don't know if maybe I saw a bit of this when it first came out. It was first shown in September 1988, and I'd been living in England by that point, and I'd definitely seen Taggart before we moved to England, I think. But for some reason, whenever I think of the kind of classic years of Taggart when Mark McManus was still alive and still leading the show, this is the one that always springs to mind. The setup is it starts off with like a young guy who's walking along the canal. No, he's boxing first of all, and then he's walking along the canal. And he falls in and seems to drown in the canal. Then it turns out he's been poisoned. It gets linked back to a food company in Glasgow called Wonderland Food, being ran by a foreigner.
Hungarian.
And as the serial goes on, more and more people are involved. There's more poisonings. Taggart drinks more whiskey and gets more and more annoyed. Although whenever he talks to a woman, he gets a bit charming. And then of course we've got the great scene when James Cosmo, who plays Victor Baird, slaps the shit out of his son Brian, played by Matt Costello. Although he was credited as Matthew Costello, he hadn't dropped down to Matt at this point. So had you seen this Taggart story before?
I don't think I had.
Right.
I was trying to look back. So I'm trying to think when I first started watching Taggart, and I don't remember seeing this when it came out. I mean, I'd have been 7.
Right.
So maybe a little bit young. But similar to you, when you think of Taggart, my first thought is Nest of Vipers. Like that is the first thing, and I remember watching that, and I remember watching it with my mum. So I went back into the Taggart archives and had a look at the episodes to see where maybe my Taggart journey had started.
Right.
So I think so. Nest of Vipers came out January 92. So I know I'd been watching Taggart for a while before that with my mum. So I think the first episode I remember watching was September 1990.
Right.
And it was Evil Eye, which is a gang of robbers kill a gypsy fortune teller who puts a curse on them, and then they start to die. And just reading that synopsis, I want to watch that again.
Sounds brilliant.
Sounds fucking amazing. But that's I remember seeing that. Like, reading the synopsis, I was like, yep, I've watched that. Then I went to the episode before, and I was like, don't remember that. So I think September 90 was probably my first Taggart watching. So I think this is the first time that I'd seen this episode. It's wonderful. Like, it has all the Taggart kind of parts. Like, we've mentioned this episode quite a few times on the podcast. I mean, we've had James Cosmo speaking about it on the podcast. And we knew Cosmo and Costello were in it, but it's totally Taggart because there's going to be other gems. So we have like Alison Peebles, Catherine Howden, John Murtaugh, and Jenny McCrindle popping up. And just a wonderful cast of Scottish talent just in small roles. And it's a wonderful Taggart episode. It has everything that you kind of want in a Taggart. I fucking loved watching this. So
it starts off perhaps a little untaggarty with a dream sequence.
Yeah.
So when a baby gets thrown out the window. It seems like Matt Costello, who plays Brian, is having a nightmare because, as it turns out, we find out later that he's been blackmailed to supply poison to the real murderers. And one of the threats has been that they'll kill his little baby, little Simon. And it starts off in black and white, like the Aha video. Costello. like the Aha video was written by Glenn Chandler. Costello running along the road and the baby crying, and then the baby getting chucked out the window.
We have a few of those. Like, I think it's like at least twice these dream sequences that Costello has in terms of the baby being killed. But why? Like, is it because
It's his worst nightmare.
the people behind it have said that they're going to kill the baby? And that's why he's dreaming about it. But yeah, it's a strange beginning and strange start, but welcomed because it was brilliant. Like,
it's like incredibly dramatic. Bear in mind, this is like ITV in 1988. You know what I mean? Which probably would have, tread pretty carefully because you couldn't get away with showing stuff on TV back then that you can maybe get away with now. And then there's also the one later on when he's falling asleep in the van and he's having the dream of the guy reaching over and cutting his throat and all that. It's it's just it's a great start. Just you're in,
I can get the later dream with the guy cutting his throat because when he says the flashback, and we'll come back to this later, about the lady's hand coming round and having a knife to his throat, I can get that because he's remembering something that's happened previously. Yeah. But the fire and his wife, Catherine Howden, like throwing the baby Simon down the window to him. Where the fuck does that come from? They never mention like setting his house on fire or anything.
It's just his worst nightmare, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he's like his family's at risk. I mean, it's just, I don't really know where to start. And then, of course, the first time we see Jim, he's pissed off with his wife because she wants him to look at some fabric samples for the new house.
Do you recognise the shopping centre that he's in?
I thought it was maybe Fraser's on Buchanan Street, but I wasn't sure.
I don't think so, because it looks like a shopping centre, because he goes up in the glass elevator and then comes to a very specific department store. But it's lost on me, because obviously it's Glasgow 1987, probably it was filmed, so
it might
it's
be
lost
Princess
on me,
Square.
but I wondered.
It might be Princess Square, because it would have been, I think Princess Square opened around 1986, maybe, and it has a glass elevator, and it's the only, so far as I know, to the best of my recollection, it's the only sort of shopping centre in Glasgow that was open then, at least, with a glass elevator.
Obviously, we find out later they're moving house, but this is a whole scene of terms of their Jean's wanting new curtains, and Taggart just seems really pissed off. Like, I've got paperwork to do, and I can't be arsed with this. Like, I mean,
which is basically the subtext, isn't it?
Oh, you made it.
Aye.
Well, what do you think?
What?
They're too old-fashioned. I want something modern, breezy.
Leave the windows open.
Look, if you can't be serious, you shouldn't have agreed to come.
Look, Jean, you asked for my advice, and I've said that.
They wouldn't go.
I'm afraid I've got to go. I've got paperwork.
Well, try to find time to take a look at this, will you?
I did find it a little bit difficult to get on board with Jim in this episode, because he's a total cock to Jean. Like, I guess he is, like, throughout the whole series, but, he's met her to get curtains. He can't be arsed, so obviously he just leaves. But then he sat at his desk looking through the brochure, and Jardine comes in and is like, "Oh, is this about your house move?" And he just like changes the subject. But no, he says like, "I'm paying 400 knicker for like the removal people." And like later on, you basically see that he's just like forgotten. And Jean has obviously had to deal with the removal people to move house on her own. She's in a fucking wheelchair. And he comes back to his old house and just comes in. The new people have got all their pictures and stuff up already. drinking champagne. He's like, and then he just tans a whiskey from them, which is his favourite. Doesn't go home to Jean and see how she's doing with the unpacking. And you just see a little shot of Jean unpacking boxes, looking fucking depressed as fuck. Like, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's fucking terrible.
It's when he turns up at the house when she's packing up, and he's like, "Look at this place. It's like a bloody junk house." You know. He throws his daughter's teddy bear in the bin and all this. You know?
Yeah, but you can see later on when he's at the antique dealer and he's selling teddy bears for 90 quid, you can see a little flash in Jim's eye of like, fuck. Could have had 90 quid off of that thing. I mean, it's true though, because he says, like, when Jean says that was your mother's, he's like, well, she's not coming back for it. I think
it's Jardine who gets the sort of sharp end of Taggart the most in this, because it begins off like the young guy who gets pulled out of the Clyde Canal. It turns out Jardine recognises him because he goes to a church group, because Jardine, we should say, he's a real straight peg. You know what I mean? He's involved in the church, doesn't drink, blah blah blah. Which is what makes him and Jim such a good pairing, because they're like chalk and cheese. But Taggart immediately starts pushing the 1980s agenda. Drugs. Jim Jardine's like, no, I recognise him. That's I can't remember the kid's name, but that's something Higgison. He goes to the church group that I organise. Taggart's like, what is it you do at that church group? Ping pong and Bible lessons.
You're right. I've got that in my notes. Like, Taggart is obsessed that Joe's on drugs. Like, he's asking everyone, like, is he on the drugs? Is he on the drugs? Has he been taking drugs? Like, he's obsessed that Joe's turned to the drugs. And, like, quote, a Burniston sketch there.
The drugs.
Like, it's almost like he's turned to the drugs. But it's fucking brilliant. He asks everyone. Jardine, he says it to his dad. When he meets fucking Mr. Griffiths, the janitor from Grange Hill, who runs the boxing club, like, he asks, like, was Joe in the drugs? He's like, no, he's not on drugs. And then he just drops it after that. But you're right, he's totally obsessed that this must be the reason. But then when he's meeting with a biscuit, and the biscuit's like, what happened? Taggart's like, that was an accident.
Yeah.
There's no drugs mentioned. It's just, it was an accident. Yeah, let's move on.
He's got a couple of brilliant one-liners. I mean, when he's sparring with Mr. Merry, the guy who owns Wonderland, he's got a couple of bright ones. There's a maniac here. He says maniac about a dozen times, and it fucking kills every time. I'm trying to catch a maniac. There's a maniac poisoning the city. And then perhaps my favourite one that he says to him, there's a pest here I'll control myself.
It's about publicity. How much can you play down what's happened? Make out it's not the fault of Wonderland products.
How do you mean, played out?
In the papers. I don't want my company to suffer.
Listen, I'm hunting a maniac that's killing people. Your potential losses take second place to that.
Do you think it's a wee seed, like, they're speaking about boxing and Jardine says that, because obviously he's a god botherer and goes to the church group, and he says boxing's very uncivilized. And Taggart mentions that he used to box in his youth, and it kind of, that's what put him on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
You reckon he was handy back in the day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a couple of moments in Taggart where he gives somebody a bit of a dunt. Not in this series, but there's one where they're at some sort of abandoned stately home, and they encounter this like biker gang. I can't remember. It might be
Taggart, Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, it might be in the one that Alex Norton's in where he's not playing the lead. He's a suspect in the whodunit, and one of the kind of leader of the biker gang sort of spits at Taggart's feet, and he says, "If you spit in my shoes again, son, I'll be wearing your balls as earrings." And that's a desired effect. The guy doesn't spit in his shoes again.
He does have just it's classic Taggart. Like when he's interviewing Joe's dad, like his son's just died. And he just switches from being sympathetic to him and then just erupts. And it's like, I know you did it. I know you did it. I know you fucking killed him. I know you killed him and your wife. And then Jardine interrupts with some evidence. And he's like, I nearly fucking had him. He's so convinced. And then later on, when it kind of turns out it might have been him, Taggart's like, I fucking told you. Well, he doesn't say fucking because, as we'll come on later, there's zero swearing in this. Well, there's one. But he's like, I knew it from the start. Like, he pinpointed him, but then he's pinpointing everyone. Like, he blames Alison Peoples for poisoning all the customers and stuff. Like, he's desperate to pin it on her, but it turns out it wasn't her. But yeah, he's just amazing in terms of the way just things on. The one other thing I loved, like it's obviously a different time, is when they find Joe's body and they drag him out the river, and you've got Taggart, Jardine, and Dr. Andrews examining the body, and Andrews is like puffing on his pipe whilst he's over the body. None of them are wearing gloves. He's just having a little puff on his pipe, like, oh yes, he's been dead for. Like, holy fuck.
I was struck by the amount of smoking in this, considering it's late 80s, and by this point, certainly in my memory, like, smoking was becoming a bit less fashionable, but even in the factory where food's being prepared, people are just standing about fucking burning a fag. The guys that are doing the engineering work, fucking darts hanging at the corner of the mouth as they go,
Cosmo is explaining all the rat poison to fucking Jardine whilst he's having a fag. He's hanging out his mouth and he's like handling flammable liquid and substances, and he's got a fucking dart hanging out his mouth like fucking Ray Stans from Ghostbusters. Just standing there explaining, this kills them with, this makes them drink water and it kills them, this sticks to their feet, this does this, and he's fucking smoking a fag.
There's lots of ways to kill a rat.
That's right. There's that sticky stuff that gets in their fur, makes them want to lick it off. There's that stuff, makes them thirsty. Then when they go in search of water, they keel over when they drink it. And then there's that stuff, cyanide magnesium. When it's exposed to air, it creates cygene gas. We use that for the inner layers. Of course, it's not all rat poison. There's mouse, cockroach.
I'm told glucosinate is one you mix with a cereal base.
Well, you've obviously been doing your rounds.
So, just before we kind of move off Taggart, I was able, through the course of watching this one, to make a wee list of sort of Taggart's loves and Taggart's hates, right? So,
okay,
here's a list of things that Jim Taggart loves. Boxing, loves boxing. Had his collar felt a couple of times before he found the boxing when he was a kid. He loves his wee hoose that he's had to move away from. Loves roasting Jardine. Like, fucking loves it. Loves doing his own shopping sometimes, because even he has to eat, right?
True.
Likes babies. Like, had a wee cuddle, a wee Simon there. Enjoys a wee cuddle with Simon.
Yeah.
He likes big binoculars as well. The size of those fucking bins. He's got, of course, he loves drams, especially doubles.
Yeah.
He likes the new Granada, but he likes it when it's got a ding in it at the end.
Yeah, he was quite happy with that. I think the biscuits car got banned.
So that's the things that he hates. Drugs. Hates the drugs.
Hates the drugs.
Hates beetroot, funnily enough, as well. Not a beetroot fan.
Yeah, that was a bizarre thing. Yeah.
Hates Mr. Merry, wasting police time. Hates moving house.
Just leaves his wife to it.
Disabled wife, all by herself, it seems. Hates his late mother's teddy for some reason. She's no coming back for it, is she? As you mentioned earlier. Hates maniacs poisoning the city. Hates wasting police time. And he hates people who think it's a free country.
He also loves Pac-Man, which isn't in this episode, but it's in Killer. He loves playing Pac-Man.
The other thing that you notice from this one, if compared to Killer, so his choice of jacket in Killer is sort of Aberdeen European champions Alex Ferguson touchline jacket of choice, whereas the jacket that he wears in this is more sort of Alex Ferguson, Man United, Champions League winners jacket.
I love that you're putting his choice of jacket on the Alex Ferguson
Ferguson scale of middle-aged men jackets to wear to your work. But I have to say, he looks pretty good, Jim, with the collar up, the jacket closed, and his hands in his pockets. He fucking means business.
He looks great. Like I did feel like I find it hard to get on board with Taggart in this episode because he's such a cunt to Jean.
To Jardine.
He's a little bit of an arsehole. Like and Jardine.
To the very recently widowed Robert Higgison as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, I did find it a little bit difficult to get on board with him as a character. Like, if this was the first episode I'd watched of Taggart, I would be thinking, like, this guy's an arsehole. But because we know him and love him so well, like, obviously you kind of forgive, and he comes to he works it out in the end in terms of like he's a beloved character, but yeah, kind of felt a little bit tough to get on board with him because he is a bit of a dick in this.
Because I know the character so well, I'm sort of there for it. The thing that I felt this Taggart story did a little bit is that, you know, like in other ones, Jardine has a couple of results. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he uncovers a bit of evidence himself, or he connects something himself. In this one, bumbling is perhaps unfair, but, you know, he doesn't sort of equip himself particularly well as he does in the later ones. You know what I mean? Like the whole train thing he manages to get. Must be the only person that's ever been jammed in a fucking Glasgow subway train door.
Yeah, but then what are the chances? There is absolutely no way, because he runs down fine and then he misses the train, but then the driver lets him on. There's no way that's happening.
That driver is fuck you. Never. Should have been here on time. I'm away.
I can believe on the other side, him getting jammed in the door of... Like, well, no, I can't believe it because that's never going to happen. The door's automatically going to open. But I can believe that more than the driver coming out his cabin, waving him to be like, oh yeah, get on. Yeah, it's fine. No, the driver's going to be like, it's your fucking tough luck, mate. You've missed it. Get the next one. It'll be in 10 minutes. Like, no chance
at all. But, I don't know. Like, I think like what they sort of did with Jardine, or what Shander did with Jardine, is probably quite smart, because when he joins Taggart originally, Livingston is still sort of Taggart's number 2, if you like, and there's like a serial with both of them. I think it might be Livingston's last one before he leaves, and there's a serial with both of them, and I think that's James McPherson's debut. And even in that one, he manages to get flung across a table and gets that's got a cream tea on it, gets covered in milk and butter and stuff like that. But he sort of becomes a kind of indispensable, as I think by the time we get to Nest of Vipers, he's sort of Taggart's equal in terms of, and it sort of gives the impression that as much as and we know as well about Jardine, it's explained earlier that Taggart knew his late father, very well, because his father had been a policeman, and Taggart had a lot of respect for Jardine's dad, and he remembers bouncing Jardine on his knee when he was wee, because he fucking loves a baby, right? Loves babies, Taggart. He's a big softie, really. And but as you know, as Jardine's character develops over the years, he becomes like Taggart's equal in terms of being a detective, and then of course he ends up leading the series for a while, doesn't he? After Mark McMahon has passed away.
I think even in this episode you can kind of tell that he has a respect for him.
He does.
Like he gives him shit, but he likes him, and I think it's very much a Taggart thing. Like in terms of Jardine, like Jardine came through the ranks and rose up, whereas
Livingston,
the predecessor Livingston was kind of fast tracked because he went to university and came in, and Jim never had respect for him.
Well, not initially, but he did later on.
True. But I think Jardine, he kind of sees a little bit of himself in him, and I think even in this episode, he gives him a bit of shit on occasion. There are a few quips, but that's just Taggart's way.
Tough love.
And but I think you can tell from this episode he respects him, and and appreciates having him. I did miss, obviously, Blythe Duff in the episode. I mean, she comes in later. I think it's Death Comes Softly.
Yeah.
Which is like
the old
December 1990 is the first appearance of WPC.
So that's the one with Mandy Matthews in it, from Ratcatcher. Death Comes Softly, and
yes,
she's still in uniform. Jackie Reed in that scene.
Yes, she is. I think she's still in uniform in Nest of Vipers.
I think she gets out of uniform in that, doesn't she? Because she ends up going to the hotel and the guys on the bones.
You're right. Yeah. I think that's the start of her kind of developing, and I think you needed her in the series to add to the dynamic. But yeah, wonderful thing. But you kind of have the threesome here because the Biscuit has quite a bigger role in this episode.
Does,
McVitie. Normally he's kind of the figurehead, but he's about quite a bit, and he has some brilliant. I absolutely love the part where Mary Taggart's telling Mary that they're shutting down his factory and they need to recall everything. And Mary's like, this is ridiculous. Who is your superior? And McVitie's like, I am.
Mr. Mary, we're going to have to close down your factory. I'm sorry.
Close down my factory?
Yeah, just until we catch this maniac. And we're going to have to recall all your products.
You can't do this to me. You have no right. I'll sue. Who is your superior?
I am.
But he's totally on board with everything. You can kind of tell that he obviously wants to solve the case, but he's on board, and he's proud of his new Granada. And when that gets smashed up, it was heartbreaking but hilarious.
It's just a wee wry grin that Taggart has to himself. Yeah, I mean that's the late Ian Anders who plays Jack McVitie, the Biscuit. Before that, it was Superintendent Murray, or the Mint, as they all called him. Just brilliant sort of West of Scotland humour. But the kind of D.I. Reed replacement in this, not replacement, because I suppose Clive Dana replaces this character, is D.S. Laura Campbell, who she's not prominent, but she's part of the team. She's there on the stakeout when Jardine and her are keeping an eye on the shop where some of the poisoned items have come from.
So this episode is full of red herrings as well. I mean, like, I was certain, because I guess it was my first time really watching it, like, I was certain Alison Peoples was kind of behind, but because she has a lot of, like, knowing kind of glances or looks or smirks, and it's a total Taggart red herring. And she was the only person I kind of suspected. Like, I knew Mr. Mary wasn't involved in any way, but there was something about her that I was like, she's somehow behind it, but turns out not at all. But lovely Taggart red
it's
herring.
very much what you watch Taggart for, because the fun of watching Taggart is trying to figure out who the killer is. Right, it's very, very, very traditional, almost sort of Agatha Christie-like, keeps you guessing, who could it be? At the beginning, there's a suspicion that it might be Harry Jones's character, Robert Higgison, because who gets a taxi from Glasgow to Fort William, Nicky? Do you know what I mean? And then to your point, the shopkeeper then is maybe the Knockers, Dolly and her son Roy. Are they something to do with it? There's even is it maybe Julian at one point, the guy that buys the antiques from Dolly and Roy? You know what I mean? Like, you're completely sort of kept trying to figure it out. And I remember certainly watching Taggart with my mum when I was a kid, and my stepdad and my granny and stuff. I mean, that was half the pleasure in watching it. It was trying to figure out who the killer was, and the other half of it was when Taggart moved away from his usual sort of stern, no nonsense, to having a wee twinkle in his eye and a wee wry grin because he's just made a joke or something unfortunate's happened to somebody. It's close to him, you know what I mean? For us, that was what that's what we tuned in for,
I mean, of course, we haven't even spoken about Dolly and Roy. The mother and son, they have a fucking weird dynamic. They're antique stealers, and yeah, there's a strange connection there. Like, why? It's his mother. Why does he always call her Dolly? He has a very Norman Bates vibe.
I've written Roy, and then I've underlined the word after it, Ponce. Because Roy is a fucking Ponce of the highest order.
Do you think, because this is another thing that has not concerned me, but came up. Costello says that when he was in the car and being kind of cajoled into doing this, that it was a woman's hand, the kind of thing. That was Roy's hand, obviously, because there's no woman involved in the thing. Like, his mum wasn't involved.
Well, I think that was a red herring to make you think, oh, is it Dolly? Has she got something to do with it? Is she poisoned? You know,
okay.
I think that was it was a red herring, you know.
Oh, you think that was Costello was having a jibe, or like,
or he's just misremembered or something like that, you know?
I did wonder, because obviously you see the white glove come over, so, and obviously Roy wears the white glove, so is he trying to kind of say that Roy has feminine hands, which could be. But yeah, Dolly and Roy, weird pairing, but very welcome. Like, I love their involvement and their interactions and stuff. But yeah, very odd pairing. But yeah, you're kind of like, it's what I love about Taggart as well. Watching this, I was like, how are they involved in the whole thing? Because they don't seem to be involved, but then yet they come into it, and then it turns out Roy is kind of the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think I was quite satisfied, I think, with the ending of this. But, you know, the fact that there's not one but three people involved, and it turned, and you would never have suspected John Murtagh. You know what I mean? Like, that's a surprise.
Yeah,
because
he's completely,
you know, and then, you know, you're also led to believe that Robert, the actor's name's Harry, Robert, the Higgison, you know, he's been suspected early on and he's been eliminated, so it's not going to be him. Then it turns out he is involved to some extent because he just wanted to go to his wife. That's got out of hand. But yeah, like, it was quite satisfying, I think. And the reveal is quite exciting as well, and also a bit gruesome, although we don't see what happens to poor old Robert. We just see the aftermath of it when he's being dissolved in a drum full of acid.
I have to say, the set piece of when you have Doug and his mate who eats the cheese and pickle sandwiches every day.
Talk about the fucking merry widower. You'd never have thought he'd only been widowed for 3 months, would you? The way he was fucking laughing and joking and trying to fire into Alison Peebles in the shop.
Yeah, that's very true, actually, yeah. But his wife was an alcoholic, so I guess she was, done. But the set piece of him kind of in the cage, like, now, this is what kind of strikes me as a little bit odd. Doug had obviously poisoned him in terms of with the pickle. So he knew he was poisoned. Would you get into that cage knowing that he's about to die?
No, but did he know? I don't think he knew that the poison had gone out of the pickle, did he?
Well, yeah, he put the poison in the pickle.
Oh, did he? I didn't miss that bit.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
Oh, because the guy found out about the scam they had going on with the aging the rights, of course. Yeah, I do remember now. Yeah, of course.
So why would you get into that? Like, if I poisoned you, I mean, I never would, but if you'd poison me, like, would you let me drive a forklift that you're going to be in a cage on and lift you up? Like, do you know what I mean? But hey, it was a hell of a set piece when he jumps off and jumps onto the
the shelving, the racking,
shelving unit. Yeah, amazing little bit of stunt work on Taggart. But yeah, why the fuck would you poison someone and then get into a cage that you're going to let them drive?
Yeah, that was a bad miss on John Murtagh's part there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Wasn't sure about that.
Do you buy Cosmo as Costello's dad?
Yes, I do. Now, I do have an issue with what is Cosmo's issue with Catherine Howard?
His wife? He thinks that his son has been honey trapped into marrying her and giving her a baby because apparently Brian could have been anything he wanted to be. Not Brian. Brian doesn't give that impression through the course of the travel.
No, and like she calls him Mr. Baird. Like, would you call your father-in-law?
My mum called my dad's mum and my gran and papa. My mum called them Mr. and Mrs. McPhee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't call them by their first names. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Maybe different time. Glasgow 80s, but it struck me when she called him Mr. Baird, and he really, he doesn't talk to her. He really dislikes her. And you're right. Maybe he thinks his son could have done better, but it's very strange in terms of the hatred he has for her. And I can understand. Like, and he does say, in terms of you could have done better or expected more, but seems harsh.
Yeah.
Cosmo.
That's but again, it's all part of the intrigue and sort of the kind of writer's subterfuge to make you think, well, is it something to do with her? Is it something to do with Cosmo? You know what I mean? Is he up to something? Is he trying to work his way to getting rid of her by poisoning the shop? But then there's the baby. That's actually, I have to say, like that last few minutes when we think the baby food's been poisoned and Brian and Patricia are trying to feed little Simon. And you're led to believe that the jar of baby food might be poisoned, and it's not until the last couple of minutes that Roy the Ponce reveals that he couldn't go through with it. Because we see him, don't we? We see the killer like putting the poison into the baby food and all that.
But it's funny in terms of Taggart, you're thinking they're not going to go there. They're not going to do that, and then you're like, actually, they might.
Throw a baby out the window at the start of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I did wonder if they were going to kill it. And then when Costello and Catherine Howden are eating the baby food, you're like, oh, fuck, are they going to die? Leave the baby an orphan?
Yeah. Little Simon just sitting there on his own, crying, and Cosmo comes in to find the couple just sitting in their chairs. That's the other thing, right? So everybody that gets poisoned, it's quite a dramatic sort of death. But Dolly just seems to slip away like she's sleeping.
Yeah, that stuck with me. She just sat there, eyes open, and then just keels over when the attendant just touches her on the shoulder, and then she just keels over. No violent gagging or kind of death, just sat there straight. But yeah, that kind of struck with me a bit weird.
Yeah.
So effectively, like the way it works, like in terms of killing, like Roy was on the jury for a poisoning case.
Yeah, that's how he got the idea.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
Where he got the idea. And so he poisoned Dolly, his mum, by poisoning chocolate.
To get her money.
Higginson was also on the jury list. Higginson poisoned his wife, but accidentally his son.
But his son drowned, though, didn't he? They reckon that his son had a little bit, they say, and he'd have been all right if he hadn't fallen in the canal. Yeah.
Doug killed his workmate because he'd find out about the forgery.
Yeah.
Because they're making these bronze statues. Doug and Roy decide to kill Higginson. And they do kill Higginson and put him in a vat. And they tease killing Costello's baby. But the shop owner was totally random to make it look good. And Roy says that it was random. Now, I get that the pickles and the curry and the chocolates, because they knew that they would kill their intended target, but the sugar for the shop owner, was that intended for him or was that random? Because how would they know he would have sugar on his rhubarb that night?
Well, it was just random, wasn't it? They said that. Like, it was just bad luck for him.
Well, yeah, because they kind of said it was to make it look good, but it could have been anybody at all.
Yeah.
That would have had that, yeah.
Could be anyone. So, yeah, it was just sort of nail luck, the shopkeeper. And the thing is as well, I mean, and again, this is perhaps quite symptomatic of how Glasgow kind of still was, perhaps to a lesser extent, in the late 80s, kind of moving away from it. But when he's like choking and dying on the street, and everybody just thinks that he's pissed as they walk past them.
State of him.
Disgusting, you know. I think by this point, Glasgow was kind of moving away from that kind of image, you know. It was the European City of Culture coming up. This was the year of the Glasgow Garden Festival. In fact, I think there's a Taggart series. There's a Taggart story set around the Garden Festival, I think. Oh. Yeah, I have to have a look and see which one it is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there is.
Jardine drives a red Ford Escort.
Yeah. Class.
That was my first car.
Yep. I enjoyed seeing the Ford Escort, and I enjoyed seeing the Ford Orion as well. That was a nice one.
Jardine had a 5-door. Mine was a 3-door. And his is a D reg. I had an F reg. But yeah, that was my first car. And it was identical, apart from the doors. But yeah.
I was kind of trying to look into the enigma that is Matt Costello a little bit, because well, the reason was I was thinking, because like for me, it feels like Matt Costello has always been in Scottish productions for as long as I can remember, right? So I kind of always thought that maybe he was about the same age as like my parents, but I don't think he is. I think he's significantly younger, because his first credit is 1989 in a sort of Play for Today thing. And I'd forgotten that he's in Small Faces as well. He plays one of the gang, and he's quite young. He plays Shuggy, one of the Glen in Small Faces. And I remember him now, and he was reasonably young in that. So I think he was probably born in the 1960s, which would mean that Cosmo would be old enough to be his father, because Cosmo would be about 20 years or so older than him, maybe slightly more. But you cannot find Matt Costello's date of birth online. It's obviously keeping it a secret. Maybe he's like Conor McLeod and he's been around for fucking millennia. But he's obviously written his IMDb himself, because it says Matt Costello was known for Wonder Woman 1984, The Field of Blood, and Monarch of the Glen.
So I asked ChatGPT to come up with a new Taggart episode, like a brand new Taggart episode. And all I told it was Mark McManus is still alive, and like, let's see what it comes up. So it came up with this: Taggart, a cold score. Synopsis: when a young virtuoso violinist is found strangled with a cello string in the acoustically perfect but morally murky depths of Glasgow's Royal Concert Hall, DCI Jim Taggart is pulled into a case where the music is sublime, but the secrets are rotten to the core. Surrounded by rivalry, ambition, and long-buried scandals in Glasgow's elite classical music scene, Taggart and his team uncover a tangled web of jealousy, cover-ups, and a ghost from Taggart's own early career may have returned to haunt him. As political pressure mounts and the orchestra's reputation hangs in the balance, Taggart refuses to be swayed by the powerful or the pretentious. So, and it comes up with classic line: Taggart says gruffly, "You don't kill someone over a wrong note unless they've played it more than once." Now,
I'm not being funny, but that sounds fucking brilliant.
It sounds fucking brilliant. Now, the cast list, and I did not give ChatGPT any prompts on this. The cast list: DCI Jim Taggart, played by Mark McManus, the hardest nails, no-nonsense detective with a deep sense of justice and Glasgow grit. DI Mark Jardine, played by James McPherson, the determined investigator and Taggart's right-hand man who always ready to push boundaries in pursuit of the truth. DS Jackie Reed, played by Blythe Duff, intuitive and driven with growing confidence under Taggart's mentorship. Right, now we'll come to the guest stars. I am not making this up, mate. Dr. Andrew Stevens, pathologist, and obviously Robbie Robertson has passed away, so they have recast him. A dry, clinical, but never without caustic quip, the team's forensic anchor. Who do you think ChatGPT cast
Cosmo.
as?
No.
Matt Costello. I genuinely did not make this up, Matt Costello. And the other cast list, Professor Elspeth Calder, who is a guest star, a respected but secretive academic with ties to the victim and to Taggart's past. They have cast Siobhan Redmond as that. They have cast Lachlan Morey, who is the conductor for the orchestra. A flamboyant and feared, but he rules the orchestra with a baton and a fist. And they have cast Peter Mullen in that role. I don't think they'd get him in an episode of Taggart, but you never know. And they've cast Emily Sloan, who is the student whistleblower, a talented and ambitious caught between exposing the truth and protecting herself. And they have cast Lauren Lyle in that role, who is in a big Scottish show that we haven't covered yet.
Karen Perry.
Karen Perry,
Yeah.
yes. She's in Karen Perry, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's what ChatGPT thinks about Taggart. And yeah, I was bemused, like genuinely, when they cast Matt Costello as Robbie Robertson's role. I was like, holy fuck. Like, that's genuinely mental because he is in everything.
Yeah. Mullen's done Taggart. Did it in 1990. 2 episodes. Peter Latimer he played and Peter Lewis. I don't know. Must be something to do with the plot. But that was when he was up and coming. Don't think they'd get him now.
What do you think about Cosmo when he's obviously worked out in terms of his son is
just
done
taste
the poison
by tasting it.
Just taste it. Yeah. And he knows it's sugar, obviously, but he tastes the rat poison.
Well, he just puts it in his tongue, then spits it away, right? I think that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you don't ingest it, I think it's all right.
Yeah, okay.
He just knows what rat poisons are supposed to taste like.
Yeah. I just love when he's having the fag and he's like, no, I know everything's there. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I mean, like, at this point in Cosmo's career, he's, I always just get the impression he's one of these actors who is always just, he's not necessarily waited for something. He just works, right? Just, whatever it is, he would do it, whether it was a film, like, because this was after Highlander. Highlander was, 1986, 1987? So he's done a Hollywood film, and then he's back shooting Taggart with Scottish television, like a year or two later. If we look back to 1988 era Cosmo, so Cat's Eyes, which was on the TV, I remember that. He did an episode of Supergran, playing Mr. McBig. Mr. McBig. Stormy Monday, which is a good film with Sean Bean. Then Taggart. Then he's just like TV, all TV stuff really. Heartbeat, Ramsey Nesbitt, Casualty, all the favourites. And then 1995, and he's into Braveheart. And then Trainspotting a year after. He did that oil rig drama Roughnecks, so we might have to do that. There's only 13 episodes, but I think that's over two series, just for the sort of Aberdeen connection, if we can find it. And before that, he's done Minder. He's done like all their favourite programmes. The Nightmare Man, The Professionals. It's a fucking legend, Cosmo is, honestly. I could just talk to him for fucking hours.
That's why he's the patron saint of the Culture Swally.
So speaking of which, is it time to put Dead Giveaway through our Swally Awards?
I think it is, Greg. Yeah. What have we got first?
So the first award is the Bobby the Barman Award for the best pub. I mean, it has to be the police bar where they go. It's always packed. You know what I mean? It's just Jardine has his soda and blackcurrant or whatever it is. Jim's fucking straight into the drams. Not even a pint.
Yeah, no, that's my choice because there's a pub Dolly goes into, and then there's the wine bar that Dolly and Roy drink in. But yeah, it has to be the pub that the Jardine, the Biscuit, and Taggart drink in. I'm just disappointed that Taggart didn't play Pac-Man. But yeah,
He didn't have time to play Pac-Man, Nicky. There's a maniac poisoning the city.
There's a maniac. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay.
He's only got got time for a quick dram. There's even that scene where he suggests to the Biscuit one for the road, and he's a bit disappointed, but the Biscuit's like, no, I think we better get to fucking work, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. That wins for me. Yeah, definitely.
So the next award is the James Cosmo Award for being in everything Scottish. And normally, if Cosmo's in it, you think, well, it's a slam dunk. But to be honest, there are a lot of people in here that could hold that award. We've mentioned Alison Peebles already. John Murtagh, of course. Harry Jones, who plays Robert Higgison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He even has a scene where he takes his teeth out. He does. He's just got one of those faces with a really sort of grizzled Scottish kind of complexion. Harry Jones, you know what I mean? And he's in fucking tons and tons of stuff. I had to look at his IMDb. I mean, just in tons of stuff. He's in the Muppets Treasure Island. He's in Loch Ness. He plays Wee Willie in Loch Ness that you've been threatening to pick for 5 years.
I'm gonna pick that soon.
He's in Lovejoy. He's been in Lovejoy. He's been in The Bill. He's been in Crocodile Shoes. Oh, just fucking tons and tons of stuff. So he could easily be picked there. Jenny McCrindle, I mean, she obviously she's passed away now, but highly respected Scottish actor. And died quite young, unfortunately. I think the thing that we've had her on that she's featured the most in was Looking After Jojo, where she's the female lead. But so many, and obviously Costello as well. So I mean, I guess you kind of have to give it to Cosmo because it's his award and he's in it. But any of those ones I've mentioned are richly deserving of it as well. Anybody I've missed? I think.
No, I went with Cosmo because the award is named after him, so obviously we have to give it to him. But I also put Costello and Jenny McCrindle and
John
Alison
Murtagh,
Peoples and John Murtagh. He is very high on the Swally tally. So I put kind of all of them, but I kind of said Cosmo and Costello.
Yeah. That's fair. Next award then, the Jake McQuillan, your Teaser Award, has to be Cosmo slapping the shit out of Costello.
I've literally put Cosmo knocking Costello about. Not because it is the tease out, but also because we have had Cosmo talking about it. So it has to be. That has to be the one.
So the next award would usually be the Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing, but because it's ITV 1988, it's fairly clean. Just a little bit of rough language, but not any swearing as such.
There's nothing at all. The only thing I had was when McVitie calls the incident on the train, it was nearly a 24-carat cock.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no swearing at all. Mm-hmm. There's no S-bombs, F-bombs, nothing. But 24-carat cock up is the best I could come up with, which isn't really a swear word.
No. Next would be the earlier mentioned Ewen McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity. No gratuitous nudity. I feel like I might have saw a girly calendar in the back of a scene, maybe like in the pest control office or something like that. But that's if I can't really remember, so I couldn't swear to it. And next then, archetypal Scottish moment. What do you have?
I had the scene that Taggart and Jardine are sitting at a bar and there's a Tennent's jug in the background.
Yeah.
And Danny Wilson, Mary's Prayer, is
playing.
However, the winner for me was Dolly and Roy's elation at entering Scotland.
Yeah. And they're not even Scottish either.
No, I know. Yeah,
that's a good one. I never thought of that one. I just had whiskies in the afternoon. It's the Scottish thing to do. And then lastly is the Sean Connery Award. Who wins Dead Giveaway for you?
Cosmo and Costello.
Oh, really?
Just because it's just, it has to be for me. But what about you?
I had McManus. He's sort of like peak Taggart. And this is just like every time, just the way he conducts himself at his work, at home, interviewing suspects at the crime scenes. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking off his disabled wife to move house on her own. Yeah.
Roasting Jardine at every opportunity, it's just, because the thing is, it's just nice to be back with Mark McManus,
it's an episode of Taggart. It has to be McManus. Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. I think it's just because we've mentioned this episode so many times, so I gave it to Costello and Cosmo. But
it's fair.
You're right. It kind of McManus, it has to be because it is his show, and
it's good. It's good to see those guys together, though, especially when we've sort of invented a bit of a relationship between those two and had a bit of a laugh over the years. It's good to see them on the screen together. So, if you want to watch Dead Giveaway, and we have given away who the killers are, but it is like a almost 40-year-old episode of Taggart, so can't really apologise for doing that. It's on the STV player if you live in the UK. Some episodes of it are on Daily Motion, but not all of it. I'm sure there's other illicit ways of getting your hands on it too. But if you haven't seen it for a while and you're a fan of Taggart, it's definitely worth revisiting. So, it was my turn to pick this week's topic for the Swally. So what are we watching for the next episode?
Our next episode will be out on the 7th of August, Greg. And Scottish football is back. The season kicks off the weekend before. So we already have looked at A Shot at Glory back in June 2021. Available wherever you get your podcasts. So it's time for another football film. The cast of this film is insane. But I'm not going to spoil it for you ahead of watching. So if you haven't seen this before, don't look at the cast list. However, the three main cast members are Neil Morrissey, Max Beasley, and Richard E. Grant. However, it does have a whole host of Scottish talent. So 2 Scottish pubs, football teams, play each other in order to resolve a century-old grudge, with the prize of the winning team being the other team's pub. I am, of course, talking about the 1999 film, The Match.
I've never seen it. I don't think. I've seen it. I watched a trailer for it, I feel like, reasonably recently. When I say reasonably recently, I mean like in the last 5 years, probably. But okay, well, I'll look for. Have you seen it before?
I watched it the other night. Because I wanted to watch it and the first time watching it. It's shite, but it's meant. But it's great. Samantha Fox is in it as well. So it's a wonderful little film. But yeah, the main kind of cast are English and South African, obviously with Richard E. Grant, but it does have an insane amount of Scottish talent and Scottish film people in it. Like, you'll be amazed when watching it.
Okay, all right. I look forward to that.
But yeah, okay. So, of course, on the next episode, we're talking about 1999, The Match. Okay, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please give us a little rate, review, subscription, whatever you would like to do. It helps the podcast to grow. You can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com if you have seen anything you would like to, us to review, or anything you'd like us to talk about, but just, drop us an email. Or just say hi. You can follow us on Instagram at cultureswallypod, or you can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at swallypod. And we have a wonderful website as well, don't we, Greg?
You can find us at cultureswally.com with episodes to all our episodes, links to all our episodes, some blog posts, and some articles about Scottish film and television. There's a bit of traffic.
Wonderful. Okay. Right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening, Greg. We're recording this on a Friday afternoon. You up to anything exciting tonight?
Yeah, we've got people in, so so I need to go and be a host. You look like your painkillers are wearing off there, are they?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I'm going to go and take some.
Well, on that note, and until next time.
Till next time.
I want that analysed. What kept you?
What's Doug Knowles doing here?
Well, he was a joker in the pack we knew nothing about.
The Three Musketeers.
But where's Higginson?
He's dissolving in a soup urn. I think he was the cook that spoiled the broth.